What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another bowl game preview and prediction. And I have been stoked to finally be able to talk about this matchup. This might be one of the most intriguing matchups in all of bowl season as the James Madison Dukes. 11-1 this year. They get their bid to go to the postseason, and they will be facing off with a team that has slid down the road. But hey, this time off will really help the Air Force Falcons. We're going to talk everything Dukes and Falcons in a minute. It's the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl from Fort Worth, Texas. I'm really excited to talk about this one. And again, we'll dive into it here in a minute, but you guys know I got to thank you for all the love and support the channel has seen as of late throughout the regular season and into bowl season. You guys have killed it, and any way you interact with the channel helps support what I do here on YouTube. So whether that's simply watching the video, liking, commenting, sharing, or doing the big thing, hitting the subscribe button and ringing the bell, anything you guys do to help interact with the channel helps to support it, and it means a lot to me. Now, I will also preface, it can be a little tricky to determine what guys have entered the transfer portal, have opted out, things like that. So Duke fans, Falcon fans, I'm going to try my best, but if I miss anything, if I miss a player or there's someone last minute that enters the portal, opts out, things like that, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd be very happy to hear what you guys have to say about this game in general. But this one, I think, is going to be a very exciting contest. Two different styles of football clashing here. Let's talk about the two different styles of football. They really show statistically how two different these styles are. Now, I will preface, James Madison is the designated road team here, and James Madison is a team that has seen a lot of players enter the transfer portal because their former head coach, Curt Cignetti, is off to a Power 5 program in the Indiana Hoosiers, which, by the way, really good for Curt. I believe he absolutely deserves that opportunity. And there are a lot of very notable names here. Their quarterback, Jordan McLeod, is in the portal. Tyson Lawton, a running back, he is in the portal as well, along with a slew of other offensive and defensive weapons as well. And again, some very notable big-time names are in the portal here. Your leading receiver and Elijah Surratt, he is in the portal. Zach Horton, your tight end, and again, a slew of defensive weapons. Now, I will talk more about these transfers later, but to my knowledge, they are all expected to play and then be gone to the portal, apart from those that have already committed. Maybe Tyson Lawton plays, maybe he doesn't. Again, I'm not too really sure how James Madison is treating this, but from the sounds of it and from everything I've read and researched, it sounds like a lot of the transfers that have entered the portal are going to play in this one final game, and then they are off to their schools in which they have committed or have yet to commit to. So I'm going to act like guys are playing because that is the way that it is sounding. So this is the passing game led by Jordan McLeod, 3,400 yards exactly, 32 touchdowns and 9 picks. He has two phenomenal weapons. Elijah Surratt is one of them, 1,076 yards. And then another one is Reggie Brown, 1,010 yards and 9 touchdowns on the season. Sproles, Horton, and even the leading rusher of this team, Kalon Black, who has 594 yards and only one lone rushing touchdown this year. But 4.5 yards per carry. Tyson Lawton is back there as well. This is a very dynamic offense. Doesn't really turn the football over a whole lot, but it's definitely a third down, or it's definitely an offense that has started to struggle a little bit here on third downs. But this is the team that probably would have won the Sun Belt Conference, but unfortunately, they didn't get a shot to face Troy because they weren't eligible to play in their conference championship game. But the defense, we have to talk about the defense. Now, I'm going to talk about the negatives first, and that is this pass defense. Now, while it has 63 pass defended, 13 picks and 2 pick sixes on the year, it is very, very susceptible at giving up the big play. Now, the numbers are also pretty skewed because offenses love to throw the ball on James Madison because of what this Duke team does in the rush defense. I mean, 61.5 yards per game allowed. That is a historic pace. I believe 2021 Wisconsin or some team like that averaged right around allowing opponents only 60 yards per game. James Madison is hovering right around there, and the defensive front does a very good job at being able to get pressure to quarterbacks as well. They have 45 sacks, including 2 guys who have double figures, and that is Jalen Green and Jamry Chroma. Those are guys that are absolutely phenomenal. weapons for this defense. And again, if it is to be believed that they are playing, boy, this is going to be an Air Force team that is definitely going to see their fair share of fits with this James Madison defense. And we know what this Falcons offense is about. It is about running the football. Now, this is an Air Force team that, hey, look, they'll throw the ball around 8 to 10 times per game. And this is an Air Force offense that with Zach Larriere at quarterback, 744 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 picks. It definitely does have some pass-catching prowess here. But again, this is an Air Force team that loves to run the ball first and foremost. And one of their leading ball carriers in John Lee Eldridge, 76 carries for 521 yards and 6 touchdowns. He is gone. He, I believe, has entered the transfer portal and or has opted out. Actually, I don't think you can enter the transfer portal with our Force Academy. I believe he's opted out to go prepare for the NFL draft or whatever have you. He will not be playing. However, Michelle, the leading rusher here with the Falcons, will still be playing. Larriere will still be playing there as well, to my knowledge. And this is an offensive line that does a phenomenal job at being able to protect, at being able to open gaps for this run game. It can be a little shaky in pass protection. And again, the number is going to be fairly skewed because this is the team that runs the ball a whole lot more than it passes. So 11 sacks for a team that has thrown the ball only 100 times. That's definitely not a great mark there. But nonetheless, it's an offensive line that does a really good job at being able to let this run game work its magic. Now, defensively for the Air Force Falcons, it is definitely a rush defensive-led team, right? 96.3 rush yards per game. Again, James Madison, they're going to have a world of a time trying to run the football on Air Force, just like Air Force is going to have a world of a time rushing the football on James Madison. But the secondary is also really strong here with the Air Force Falcons. No notable opt-outs on the defensive side of the ball, so you have all your great pass rushers, all of your great members of this but pretty darn good secondary here. This is an Air Force Falcons team that is absolutely going to thrive on the defensive end, especially if a lot of these weapons from James Madison do not play here in this game. This all leads me into my what to watch for, kind of like your keys to the game. If my slide would change, there it goes. Just things I think you should keep an eye on while you're paying attention to this one. Now, like I have stated earlier, most, if not all, of the players in the transfer portal are expected to play, and that is huge news for this James Madison team. It's not like they just up and enter the portal and now James Madison is trying to pick up scraps to put an offensive unit together, to put a defensive unit together. From the sounds of it, and again, maybe we'll learn more as game time comes around, but from the sounds of it, it sounds like all of the transfers that are in the portal are expected to play. So we will keep a close eye on that, but I'm going to act like they are playing because, again, that's what I've read and that's what I've heard. So moving on to the offense for the James Madison Dukes, if it is to be that Jordan McLeod is going to start here in this game, will it be very interesting to see who does start if Jordan McLeod does not play. But McLeod and company will need to be dynamic. This is an Air Force team that is really, really good defensively. They play a very aggressive style. They have a pretty solid pass rush. Their rush defense is on the verge of being elite. You might even consider it as being elite. And the pass defense is good enough to be able to keep up with any pass threat. This is probably going to be one of the most dynamic offenses that the Air Force Falcons have faced, though, and they need to prove it, do the Dukes. They need to be dynamic. They need to hit some big shots down the field. But the rush defense, that is the focal point of this defense, needs to be as strong as ever. Now, it wouldn't surprise me to see Air Force throw the ball maybe 10 to 15 times to try to expose some of the big play threat here with James Madison's secondary, but the run defense will need to be as strong as ever, and we've seen it hold opponents to very, very low totals throughout the year. I believe only 1 or 2 opponents have gotten over the 3.5 yards per carry mark. Maybe it's 3.2. Maybe I'm getting numbers mixed around, but all that to say, this rush defense is really, really good. It has to be really, really good here against the Falcons because the run game is all Air Force runs. Now, again, I expect them to throw the ball around 10 to 15 times here in this game, but I think the run game is going to work well enough to where the water break. I think the run game is going to work well enough to be able to keep Air Force well in this game. Again, like I've talked about, this is a pass game that has to be effective as well. Now, I also believe that the pass defense is going to be really, really key, right? So We know that Air Force is going to be able to slow down this run game, and I believe that it will. This is the James Madison team that, even with all the transfers and things, doesn't necessarily have one guy that is capable of doing it all and really being able to pound it on the ground here for this the James Madison rushing offense. So the pass defense will have to be key. McLeod is going to look to try to hit his two guys in Surratt and Brown all game long. You've got to be ready to defend the pass. It's been good all season, but again, this is by far the best passing attack that Air Force has faced all season long. The Falcons will control time of possession. It's just what they do. They're going to run the ball, they're going to control time of possession, and they're going to try to control it with their defense as well. But you have to be able to limit the turnovers here in this game. Give James Madison some extra possessions offensively, especially if you're already down by a score or two, and things could get out of hand very, very quickly. I, for one, think this is going to be an absolutely phenomenal game. However, I am going to side with the odds makers here. I do like James Madison more offensively. I think defensively, that rush defense is going to do enough to be able to slow down this Air Force Falcons rush game to make Air Force have to throw the ball to try to win, which we know is not the Falcons' bread and butter, and therefore I believe the Dukes are going to get this bowl game win. 24-21 is the way I see it playing out. I think it's a very tight-knit, close game, but I think the offensive explosive ability of James Madison will be a little bit too much to handle, and the Dukes will beat the Air Force Falcons. Let me know how you guys see this one playing out in the comment section below. But hey, as always, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. I'll see all you guys in the next video. One more preview prediction up today. Goodbye.